Assalamualaikum. A very good day to all marketing students. Today I'm going to discuss on the part 3, which is a concept and or project evaluation. So this is the concept project evaluation, which is every stages of the project evaluation has to go through on this, entry screen, customer screen, technical screen, full screen, until the project has been approved by the top management. So these are the process stages or phases that need to be go through by the team, the product management team. So due to this, that we're going to focus on the chapter 8, which discuss on the concept evaluation system. So this evaluation system, which consists of the 5 phases, as we mentioned earlier in the earlier chapter of this paper, consists of the opportunity identification, selection, concept generation, concept or project evaluation, until they go into the development stage, and finally is the launch stage of the product process. So every stages they have a different task that need to be done in terms of the evaluation task by the product management. So this is the directions of the, when you go to this, and then what are the techniques that normally they use at this stage. So for the opportunity identification and selection, at this stage is the best task when you want to do for this evaluation is to find the direction, what you need to do, what should you do, look for, especially at this stage. So what is some company, they are looking into the what makes it, what interests them, especially in their, in the industry that they want to follow. And this is also very important because some company or firms, they are following the trend. So from there that they see the where is the opportunities exist. So after you already clear of your this direction, you should look. So what kind of the technique that normally you are looking, you need to do at this stage of the first stage is, of course, you have to go, you have to find the opportunity identification. You can use the market description techniques in order to do this kind of the evaluation. Number 2 is the concept generation. So at this concept generation is the stage where you already identify your concept, but you list out the concept. But at this stage is you want to see that which of these concepts that you already list out is you want to, you find the screening, you want to screen at this stage of which of these concept is very fruitful or useful to carry on the next stage. So the techniques that normally used at this stage of the concept generation is, normally we discuss, we go for the product innovation charter, okay, which is we already discussed in chapter 3. Immediate judgmental responses, preliminary market analysis, and concept testing. So all of these are 4 phases, 4 techniques of evaluation can be used in order to check, to screen out the concept generation that you want to carry on. Number 3 is the concept or project evaluation. So this stage is different compared to the concept generation just now. So this concept project evaluation is the things that at this stage is you already screen out a proper concept, and now is for you to evaluate which of the project is workable, and also you can proceed to the next stage. So of course at this stage that you want to see is you have to look in, you have to consider the many factors of the company, your capabilities, your resources, your materials, in order to support the success of your project, okay, the completion of your project at this stage. So of course this stage is you go, normally we are looking into the full screening of the project, the every single of the project, every factors that affect or influence of the completion of this project. So the technique they use is a checklist. Okay, you can check for the profile sheet and scoring models. Okay, so that is one thing. Number 4 is a development stage. So this one you already confirm of the concept and project evaluation. So you know already which project that you want to proceed. So at the development stage is the stage where you want to decide, the stage of the, to crystallize the project into the actual physical product. So of course, at this stage is, the task that normally the product team have to do is, they have to update the progress of the report, the progress of the project. You have to, in terms of the at which stage that they already develop, okay, and maybe a certain, question that they, if they are still yet to complete of the progress of the report, develop of the product, then uh, how they're going to proceed, so should they proceed with the development or not. And the technique used is a protocol checks, prototype, concept test, and product use test. So since that you, if you notice that the techniques that you normally use here is really um, sounds like that you want to check of the actual physical product that already used. For example, like in the automobile car, right? For example, the car auto manufacturer. So they, before they launch the product into the market, normally the product itself is 100% already produced. So at this stage is normally they come up with a, prototype. So they want to test the durability of the product. They want to test of the whether the concept is workable or not after you transfer from the idea into the physical concept, and how you're going to use this product. So at this stage is you are not yet confirmed to go into the final stage of the market launch. So that's why most of us, we always listen to the rumors. For example, like, oh, Produa already launched this one, they're going to produce this, but actually, but what is it, the car, the model is already issued this year, but why is it they announce that they're going to sell the product next year? Because this year, when we heard, listen to the rumors, right, when we heard this news that they already produced, that is the stage whereby they only to test the prototype. They want to see how the product works in the market before they really confirm that they want to produce. Okay. And finally is a launch stage, which is at this stage is you test the market. Okay, and how you're going to market it. Okay, so normally there are many techniques in order to test. At this stage is speculative sale. You can use that one. You can use the simulated test market. You can use the informal selling. You can use the control sale, test marketing, rollout, as well as the economic summary. So all of these the techniques is very useful in order to help you to achieve the objective for that um, for that particular stage of the evaluation system. Okay. The next one is the tool for the concept evaluation. So when it comes into the concept evaluation, of course, there are tools that normally people always talk about. What need to be fulfilled, at this concept evaluation. Number one is the strategic fit. Okay, so your tools or the concept evaluation must fit with the corporate vision, okay, of the company. So that is a one thing that you must look into, right? So of course, when you want to talk about the development or the concept generation, for example, like you're talking about the product innovation charter, which is the technique that we've already used, right, for this. So whether this a product innovation charter that you use, normally we're going to check whether this product that we want to achieve is really at par or concurrently, same level with the whatever that the goals and also the vision or mission set by the top management. Okay, the second one is the whether the concept, okay, is really matched with the customer. Okay, whatever that the concept you want to do is because of the whether it's current or not. It's really what is really needed by the customer or the market now. So that is the one thing that you need to answer. Number three is the consumer fit. Does the concept satisfy an unmet consumer need? Okay, so that is very related, closely related. This is the customer fit and the consumer fit here. The customer fit just now is we are talking about is there any rooms for the to make a better for the needs of the customer. But for the consumer fit is when there is a demand, when there is a needs from the consumer, the customer, are you going to fulfill this need? Okay, and the market attractiveness is the concept unique relative to competition. How different is your product, your concept? And technical feasibility, is the concept feasible and protectable? Whenever that most of the company, right, when they want to produce a product, definitely not only to make their product is different over competitors, but at the same time they want to protect the product in order to avoid from the competitors to copy or to do or produce the same thing, the same product with the same features or with the same technology. Once you already have your own very unique technology, which is cannot be is very difficult to copy by the competitor. So definitely you're going to survive in a very long period of time in the market. For example, Apple, no one are going to copy, have the same technique, same technology as them. And of course, a financial returns, which is you have to talk about the break even, you know so you have to see, you have to look into your account, you have to look into your materials, and of course this one is another one is very very important. Okay, another one is the criteria for early stage screening assessment. So these are the criterias, especially when you want to go through of the screening assessment here. So of course we're going to talk about the it must be unique, you know and need fulfillment. It has to be a feasible, it has to be a impact, scalability, and strategic fit. So all of these are the very useful criteria that need to be looked into, especially when you want to go for the early stage of the screening. Yeah, so I'm not going to discuss in detail of this criteria, but of course it's very straightforward. You can see that how good is the the criteria is, how logic is them can be used for this early stage of the screening assessment. So I want to share with you the additional information regarding the innovative design concept. Okay, which is I adopted the source I got here is from the Justel Vidal Arriaga Franco and Jauregi, sorry, which is their study on the evaluation method for selecting innovative product concept with greater potential marketing success. So it's under the proceeding. So this is one of the examples which is studied by the previous scholar on the how to make sure that the design of the concept, which is categorized by, you know, if you notice here. I'm sorry because I tried to write down here something. Okay. Okay, talking about this. Okay, we're talking about this, right? So, which is this, the articles that mentioned about the evaluation method need to be divided into three types of, a process, which is start with the needs, assessments, and also selections. So, if you see that this is, the process, you have the new concept here, and after the new concept, in order to make sure which is the divide into the creative and also successful. Okay, so the new concept has to be in order to whether the concept is good or not, whether is the concept of the product is patentable, and also you have to look into the degree of novelty of the concept, how good is that. So at this assessment method is normally the company they are going to look into this. So because we want to see whether the concept is really novel, or you are not or you don't get this idea from someone else. So that's why there is a body authority in, for example, in Malaysia is a Malaysia Intellectual Property Office. Sorry for that. So in Japan they call it a Japan Patent Industry Incorporation, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? So every country they have this kind of office, which is this office is their their function is to check, is to process the application. For example, like I want to come up with one product. So this product is a product A, so I want to make sure that I'm sure that after my research and development, so I produce a concept, so this a concept I believe is the first in the world. So in order to make sure that I'm the one who really produced this such concept, so I have to go and check with the MIPO, Malaysia Intellectual Property Office, to check whether my product is really new or not. So this of course you have to apply, you have to fill up the form, you have to disclose everything, the process and everything, and with together with the fee. So this is the things, the process that you have to go through. So after the certain process, let's say for example a certain period of time that the office already confirmed you are the one who produced such a concept, then um, you can declare that this product is yours. Okay. So what happened if the product is not yours? For example, um, you want to check whether this is not the volunteer, and you find out that the office says that actually there is someone in Italy that already produced with this kind of design. So you cannot proceed, you cannot protect that this is yours, even though you already spent 10 years, you already spent 20 years producing and also do a research on this. So you are wasting your time. What you can do is maybe you can sell in the market, but you cannot say that this is your pattern or this is your design. So that is a good thing, you know. So you have to do this, you know, this is the assessment that normally they do. And after that is the selection criteria. So at this selection criteria, of course, there are many techniques that normally they have to apply for this. QFD matrix, they have a Garcia Calenton and also assessment algorithm and absolute innovation product is very technical. So what I want to focus this show you here is how to make sure that this product, the concept that you already produced, that you already designed in the first place, is really marketable to the market. So of course you have to look into the appealing to the customers, how attractive design specifications that they want to use, especially in terms of the assessment, and of course how does this product appeal to the company in terms of the business feasibility. So this is overall of the innovative design concept that perhaps that we can look into. Okay, this is the example. Okay, sample idea screening technique, which is one of the example practiced by the Unilever. So Unilever requires that a brief be written for each new idea under consideration. So they are talking about the customer needs, they are talking about the technical specification, idea solution benchmarks and standards, what is the minimum requirements that need to be fulfilled. If you cannot miss this out of this a must have one, and what might cause it to fail, which is you have to identify you know your competitors, you have to identify what is your drawbacks or disadvantage of this product, and what is already known, and what is the budget and timeline. So this is the sample idea screening techniques that used by the Unilever. So when it comes into this, right, talking about the expenditure, you will see the cumulative expenditure uh, curve, you know, especially in terms of percentage of expenditure and also the time of launch. You can see the difference between the money for the high-tech products and the consumer products, which is for the high-tech product, which they have you know a very high expenditures here that requires by the company. Unlike with the consumer products, it's easy to launch, but uh, the expenditures for the consumer product is considered low, relatively low compared to the high tech product. So of course, if you notice that many of the company, they even the small company, they focus on the consumer products. So this is the evaluation, uh, risk or payoff metrics at each evaluation. Okay. So for this evaluation, you will see product would fail if marketed and the product would succeed if marketed. So there is you know you can use the metrics, the risk and payoff evaluation here in order to make sure to give you the to teach how to say it, how do you call this one, in order to decide whether you can carry the the project or not. Okay, if you notice here, those who are in the sales AA and also BB, they can proceed. Okay, and BA and AB and are errors, but they have a different cost and probabilities dimension. Maybe there are certain areas need to be looked into. Okay, so this is kind of technique maybe you can look into. So this is the mortality of the new product ideas to the decay curve. Remember that last time during the first class I mentioned when I told you that normally for the new product, uh, less than about average is 80% of the new product yet introduced in the market fail, right? So so this is the thing that the risk that normally the company has to bear with, and when it comes into the planning and evaluation system, there are four concepts that must be fulfilled by the company under this planning evaluation system, which is the rolling evaluation, potholes, people, and surrogates. So under this rolling evaluation, normally we are talking about, at this stage of the rolling evaluation is everything is not confirmed. Okay, it's just a tentative. So at this stage, the project assess is continuously. So financial analysis also needs to be built up continuously. Not enough data early for the complex financial analysis. You have to run the risk of killing off too many ideas early. So at this stage of the rolling evaluation, you have many ideas and then you have to look into this. And at this stage also, you have to think about what is the marketing process that you want to, marketing plan that you want to proceed for your product. Put holes, know what the really damaging problems are for your firm and focus on them when evaluating concepts. So you have to really focus on the problems of your firm. So how are you going to overcome this through your through your how to say your product. So there are examples given here. For example, a Campbell soup focus on the manufacturing cost and taste because they know this is their problem. The drug companies focus on FDA approval. You know that there is a process here. And also the software developers also focus on the customer willingness to learn how to use the complex software. People, okay, is also one of um, the concept that need to be considered here. The proposal, okay, you have to talk about the people. Once you hire, you have to hire and then you have to really confirm with them. And of course we're talking about the people because you invest something, you invest on their skills, you invest on their manpower. So that's why you cannot avoid this kind of the concept of people. And surrogates, which is something like the hurdles. What are the checklist questions that normally you have to go through in order to complete this project. So of course you have to ready of this kind of the list of questions, especially when you want to develop a new things here. For example, like the real questions, will they prefer it? Of course, in the surrogate questions, did they keep the prototype product we gave them after the concept test? Okay. Will cost be competitive? Does it match our manufacturing skills? So this is the surrogate questions. And the real questions, competition leap, what did they do last time? So this is kind of things that which is a developed more a critical question for you to answer. Okay. And ATR model of the innovation diffusion. This is the model diffusion which is used in order to calculate your profits. Okay, of using the ATAR model of innovation of diffusions, which is the profits equal to unit sold times per profit per unit. So this is the formula of the ATR model innovation. Unit sold is, we can consider, is the number of buying units times the percentage of away of the product, percentage of who will try product if they can get it, and percentage to whom product is available, and times the repeat measure, what is the average number of units bought per person per year including the repeat purchase, and times the number of units repeaters buy in a year. So profit per unit equal to revenue per unit minus the cost per unit. So this is if you want to look into this lah. Okay. So what is the definition of this ADR model? Is as you can see here, this is the definition for each of the how to say the concepts of in the in the model. The buying unit is a purchase point, the person or department or buying center. Okay, aware has heard about the new product with some characteristic that differentiates it. Okay, once they already listened or heard about this news of the product, that is aware. Available if the buyer wants to try the product, the effort to find it will be successful the moment that they already buy the product and own the product, then that they already have a that is called available. Trial is usually means a purchase or consumption of the product, and repeat after you use and buy, then you want to repeat the purchase. The product is bought at least once or more, or for durables recommended to others, you recommend. So this, that is the definition. So this is the application, okay, of this. For example, that you can go for video cell phones, right? So the video cell phones, the buying units is about 10 million, the number of the owners of the video cell phones. So you have to times with the 40% of the percent awareness after 1 year. After 1 year that the products publish and launch in the market, about 40% of the market aware that this product is available. The 20% of them aware owners who will try product. They want to try it. 70% of the buyers is a percent availability at the electronic retailers. 1.2 measure of repeat, for example, like 1.2 times. 20% of the customers buy a second phone, and $50 price per unit minus trade margins and discounts, 100% minus unit cost at the intended volume, which is the $50. So the profit that you will expect is 33,600,000. So what we can look into summary from these ADR models. So each of the subject is estimation, and these estimates improve with each step in the development phase. So they can give you something like what you can predict in the development stage. Inadequate profit forecast can be improved by changing factors and doing a what if analysis. If profit forecast is inadequate, look at each factor and see which can be improved and at what cost. In our example, could retail margins be increased to increase distribution? Could more advertising spending lead to more awareness? So of course, this is a kind of the the issues that maybe you can look into for this. So as we already in the previous explained in the previous slides, talking about the definitions of the R models. So this is definitely the key definitions that perhaps you can check with, yeah, the key definitions. Okay, so that's all for this chapter. I wish you all the best, and I'm going to give you the we're going to have a discussion in the forum session. Thank you very much.